What's going on, everyone? I'm Robert Anthony, and welcome back to the third edition of the Shirtless and Scruffy series. In this short video today, I just wanted to answer a few questions that you guys sent to me on Instagram about cabin crew life in Dubai and overall flight attendant lifestyle. But first, as you can see, my hair has gotten taller, my beard has gotten longer. We are still in the lockdown in Dubai, and I want to give you a quick coronavirus update. If you watched my last video, I kind of explained how they were doing this Dubai sanitization project and that was being extended through the weekend. After I published that video, it was actually told to us that they were going to extend it for 14 days. So then we began a real 14-day lockdown that was 24/7. We had to stay inside unless it was for a necessity such as grocery shopping or medical appointments. And they even made it more difficult to go outside because you have to apply for a permit. So if you do want to go grocery shopping, only one person per household is allowed to leave. You have to go through this process on the Dubai police website, fill out all of your information, say what time you're going to leave the house, say where you're going, and put your car license plate if you're driving, or mention if you're walking. They're really trying to curb people from going outside. So I know a lot of my friends in the US, you guys can escape your homes and kind of have a little time in the sun, some fresh air, walk your dogs. That's not going on here in Dubai. The police are going around in their cars, asking people for their permits, double checking everyone has submitted one. And also we have speed cameras here in Dubai. Those cameras have now been changed to track all the license plates, and the police are corresponding those to make sure that everyone that's driving has submitted a permit. So let's move on to the questions. I got some funny responses and quite a few responses, so I'm gonna actually do a video like this every so often whenever I get some new questions to put up. So if you're not following me, follow me there, and feel free to send me a direct message anytime if you want to ask a question, and I'll try to cover it at some point. So I actually got a few questions about this topic, and just to clarify, homosexuality is not illegal in Dubai. It's the act of homosexuality. So just being homosexual was the case, a lot of people in this airline would be in jail. So you can't just be walking down the street and arrested because somebody thinks you're gay or knows you're gay. Homosexual acts is what's not allowed in the religion. Now, in terms of the gay life here, it's actually not as bad as you would think. The first question is, are there gay bars? Yes, there are, but there's not like a street of gay bars where you know this is for sure a gay bar, it's always a gay bar. You can walk around in a gay area, feel a little safe, kind of like West Hollywood or the Castro in San Francisco. It's not like that. They do have gay parties that happen. Sometimes they happen every week at the same locations, but it's not set in stone. And sometimes I've heard the police do come just to make sure people aren't getting out of hand. I've never witnessed this myself. I haven't gone many times to these clubs, only a few times, but generally, you know, there's club promoters that work, and eventually they get the contacts and WhatsApp information of people that frequent the nightlife, and they send a message out like, this Friday, it's this DJ at this location, that sort of thing. But there's not a huge area to go out where you know it's always going to be the same crowd. In terms of dating, I would say it makes it a little more difficult picking up someone in person because you got to be sure that they're into you. You can't just go hitting on random people because that would be very awkward. You have to really know how to read your surroundings and make sure that person is interested in you before you approach them. I wouldn't want to approach some straight guy simply because I thought he was checking me out at the gym. You also kind of know where the gay community tends to hang out. Like there's certain fitness first gym locations that a lot of gay people go to. So it's not very hard to figure out like where your community lies here. This is a tough one because, as the old saying goes, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So it depends on your preferences. The great thing about this airline is that we fly all over the world, so we have a chance to go to so many different destinations, and they're all completely different. For instance, I really love Entebbe, which is an African destination in Uganda, and my flatmate hates it. People there don't really like it. There's lots of bugs, mosquitoes. Even in the room, they have one of those nets all around the bed for the high time when the mosquitoes and things are out. But I love it. I love the food. I love the people. The gym there is really great. It's actually like at a resort. A lot of our African destinations are at really, really nice resorts. So I love going to Africa. There are the particularly popular destinations that you can only get once per year or in your top bid months, such as Japan is really popular. There's a trip to Rio and then Buenos Aires. It takes a couple days. There's different versions of it. Some of them actually work out to be 9 days because you're in Rio for about a 2-day layover, then you go to Buenos Aires for 2-day layover, back to Rio for 2-day layover, and then back to Dubai. I was actually rostered this flight in March. It was my top bid, so it's a hard trip to get, but with the coronavirus, everything got removed, so I'm really bummed about that one because that's a like once in a career trip. Other popular destinations are basically anywhere you get a 2-day layover, because most of our layovers are 24 hours. So sometimes in the summer or something, we'll have 2-day layovers like in Nice or Lyon. So those are also really popular as well. People really like Switzerland, Geneva, because the money for our allowance is really good. You know, so it just depends kind of what you're in the mood for. Okay, I think I remember who asked this. This is a friend of mine. I would love to come back to Australia. For those of you that didn't know, I actually lived in Sydney, Australia for a year before joining. I have a lot of friends there. It's one of my favorite cities. And when I first joined, I went there a lot. However, ever since probably the past 2 years, once they started hiring a lot of new recruits for the company, I have never gone to Australia. The reason being is because when they hired all of these new people, they didn't pay for them to take the US visa so they could operate flights to the US. So they had to keep all of the senior crew like myself to operate those flights. And you can only do like 1, maybe 2 long flights per month. So if I'm to be rostered one of those, it's gonna be to the US, and all the new crew are going to Australia. So unfortunately, I haven't been there in so long. I do hope they're gonna change this. I believe they were gonna start rostering the crew to get their US visa, the new crew, but with everything going on with coronavirus and whatnot, I'm not sure exactly what's gonna happen. So hopefully soon. I really hope. I miss you guys down under. So many things. I've seen so many gross things, but not as bad as, I don't know if you guys follow Passenger Shaming. It's a really funny Instagram profile that has some pretty gnarly stuff. But people are just gross, man. I think people forget that they're around other people and that other people, especially the crew, are looking at them, especially when we're sitting in our jump seat in front of you. That's the worst. I've had people do nasty stuff. I remember one guy in front of my jump seat, literally digging for gold. He was reading something on his phone, so he had his phone, picking his nose like this forever. Not even like a little bit, not even like a little sneaky, like digging for gold. There was a guy sitting next to him, and he was like, he saw him, and he's literally sitting like this, like trying to be as far away as possible. And I looked at the guy for a good couple minutes. I was like, maybe he's gonna realize and be embarrassed and stop. Keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, to the point where I'm almost like, sir, do you want me to get you a tissue? I guess the simple answer is you get used to it. No one's gonna feel great after a cross-country flight or an international flight. I will say there are things you can do to minimize it. Certain supplements like rhodiola, arnica, natural supplements that you can find on Amazon that supposedly help curb jet lag. You know, eating healthy, staying hydrated is the main thing. When I travel as a passenger, I bring a huge refillable bottle of water. But it's tough as a passenger because you're sitting in one place most of the time. And to be honest, it's kind of easier to work. If we are working those long flights, we do get a lie flat rest in the crew bunks. So at least you get a couple hours to actually lay completely flat, which is much better than being stuck in a chair for so long. I'm not sure if you meant in terms of how busy flights will be or in terms of the service, but I'll answer both. I think the flights are not going to be busy for probably a year. Definitely not until there's a vaccine available. I think people are going to be less inclined to travel if they don't have to. In terms of the service, I do think it will change, but not too much. But I think this will definitely mark kind of a new era for all airline industry. For instance, we do a service where we go through with a tray of a selection of drinks between meal service and things. And to be honest, it's just not very hygienic because people grab one drink, they put it down, they go for another one, or they're grabbing one cup of water and their pinky accidentally touches the juice drink. None of the crew really like this service. Nobody likes carrying a tray and like holding it. It's heavy, it's not good for your shoulders, it's awkward for the passengers to grab. I think people are really gonna start to think about all the different ways that germs are spread on an aircraft and how we can minimize it. And you know, things need to be covered. Maybe bottles of water would be better, couplets of water, but open juices and things that other people are touching are not good. In terms of the sanitization, I hope that this will improve. To be honest, when a flight schedule is busy, these aircrafts turn around so fast, there's not time for a detailed cleaning. So hopefully operations will figure out a way to kind of deep clean aircrafts more often than they have in the past. I think that would really make people feel better. But at the end of the day, I think what's going to happen is people are just going to feel more responsible for the hygiene of the aircraft when they're on it and start bringing their own wipes and things like that more often. All right, so those are my questions that I chose to answer for today. If you like this sort of video, give it a thumbs up. Please support my baby channel by subscribing and sharing this post if you liked it. Like I said, if you have any questions about cabin crew life, send me a DM on Instagram and I'll try to get to it. And that's it for now. Anthony Talks out.